Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you to the World Economic Forum and the Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Global Initiatives for bringing us together. And thank you to Her Excellency Dr. Amina for the excellent scene setter. One can't deny that our world faces a complex web of challenges, from extreme weather events and declining biodiversity, from economic uncertainty caused by political instability, to the sheer human tragedy of armed conflict. Some refer to a polycrisis, not just because we face multiple challenges, but because many are deeply connected, both in ways that we can see, as well as in ways that we cannot. Few challenges exemplify this phenomenon more clearly than the need to reimagine our food systems. Since food systems permeate every aspect of human development and well-being, the human costs of inefficiency and inequity can no longer be ignored. 1 in 9 people around the world go hungry every day. Yet 1/3 of our food is wasted, about 1.3 billion tons every year. In fact, food produced but never eaten could feed 2 billion people. That's 3 times the number of undernourished people across the globe. The harm that this wastage causes our planet is also a serious problem. If wasted food were a country, it would be the 3rd largest carbon emitter, after the USA and China. According to the WWF, 80% of deforestation, as we heard, and 70% of biodiversity decline can be traced to our food systems. And we must not forget that global food consumption is expected to rise by at least 50% by 2050. You get the picture. There's clearly a lot that we can do to reimagine and reinvent these systems, as you've been discussing. The good news is that we are seeing signs of progress. 134 countries signed the COP28 UAE Declaration on Sustainable Agriculture, Resilient Food Systems, and Climate Action. With this, the UAE led the way in many respects to expedite the integration of agriculture and food systems into climate action. In fact, thanks to His Excellency Dr. Sultan Al Jaber's foresight as COP president, COP28 saw an entire day devoted to food and agriculture, where a new global vision for food systems was unveiled. At COP28, the World Economic Forum also announced the First Movers Coalition for Food, where the UAE and 20 leading food companies joined forces to create a combined procurement commitment for sustainably produced food worth $10 to $20 billion by 2030. Alongside the inaugural COP28 Business and Philanthropy Climate Forum, where over 1,300 CEOs and foundation heads gathered to engage in the climate action agenda, we also saw numerous new commitments by the private sector, including over $300 million in additional philanthropic capital towards sustainable food systems. However, if we are to truly transform our food systems, we need to supercharge our commitment to collaboration, not just across borders, but also across disciplines and sectors. From where I stand as a business person who also believes in the power of strategic philanthropy, I'm optimistic that we're entering a new era of multi-stakeholder cooperation, where artificial walls between government, business, and philanthropy are coming down. In the UAE, this whole of society approach is being championed, including in our multilateral convenings. This was in the DNA of COP28 and at Expo 2020 before that. We also saw His Excellency Dr. Thani al-Zayudi look to transform the WTO ministerial meetings in Abu Dhabi with business and philanthropy engaging like never before. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that we put everything and everyone in a blender and hope for the best. We know that government is uniquely placed to provide an enabling environment for everything else to thrive. And with $25 trillion in private markets, we also know that business is uniquely equipped to channel vast amounts of private capital and expertise, global networks, and cutting-edge technology. Think about the impact that robotics and AI will have on our food systems, as I'm sure you've been discussing, from smarter farming, better food processing and safety, smoother supply chain management. The private sector will be on the leading edge of this transformation. And many of these solutions will sprout from the entrepreneurial ecosystems in the great nations across the so-called global south or the global majority. Local solutions and local opportunities for local challenges. With around $2 trillion deployed every year, philanthropic capital has distinctive characteristics that can make it a uniquely powerful tool for stimulating action. It can be more flexible, risk-tolerant, and patient than other forms of capital. When strategically deployed at an early stage, de-risking follow-on investments, it can play a pivotal role boosting innovation and research and development, and as it did with the Green Revolution over 50 years ago. So, if there is one message that I'd like to leave you with, it's this. In the same way that complex challenges such as food security, water scarcity, climate change, and public health cannot be viewed in isolation, the solutions to these challenges will not be spawned in isolation either. No country or stakeholder group can address any one of these issues on their own. We need to work together while continuing to play to our individual strengths in order to generate that multiplier effect that enables us to produce an outcome that's greater than the sum of our parts. Only then can we work together at the speed and at the scale necessary to deliver a better world. A world that equitably addresses food insecurity, meets the climate emergency, and creates a dynamic and robust global food system that works for all people, both today and far into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, with all this talk about food and with dinner coming up, I hope I've helped to spark an appetite, but also some food for thought. Thank you for the opportunity to address you all, and for those visiting, wish you an inspiring remainder of your visit in our beloved United Arab Emirates. Wassalamu alaikum.